Hi guys, it's Overzine here, and today we're talking about budget PCs. How much am I going to spend on a PC? Specifically designed for gaming, obviously. Well, to answer that, you're going to need to know what type of games you're going to be playing. And why am I stuck in this? That is weird. Oh, okay, I'll press C. A little bit dumb there. So I've got myself a mid to high-end gaming PC. It can handle Battlefield 4 and most games that are that sort of quality, and games like Peggle. And if you haven't played Peggle, then you should go and search it and download it because it is the most addicting game ever. On PC, of course. My gaming PC is AMD based. No, I'm not an AMD fanboy, it just worked out better on my pocket. So though it's based on AMD, the one thing that isn't AMD is two things, maybe three things. But basically everything else is AMD. It's the motherboard, that's Asus, and that's the Crosshair 5 formula. It's not the Z edition, it's the one before that. And it's a very strong motherboard for overclocking. I mean, it can handle an 8-core CPU. I've got the AMD FX 8320 8-core CPU, overclocked to 5 GHz with water cooling. It handles that very well. Very strong motherboard. Now, to keep the CPU cool, of course, because it's AMD, and like AMD and renowned for having very bad TDPs, is a Antec water cooler. It's the Antec 620 620H20 water cooler. And I don't have to say cooler, but they spell it a weird way. It's like cooler or something. I'll put the links in the description about that water cooler. It's only a cheap one, but it does its job to keep an 8-core cool, as it tends to do. There we go, got a kill at last, and I'm about to get killed. So to go with that CPU, I've got myself Corsair Vengence RAM. It's the Pro Red Edition, and it's 32 GB, 2400 MHz. Of course, I can overclock it further, but I would put more strain on my motherboard. It can handle it, it'll just get hot because of the CPU that can't handle that much. Now, a graphics card is a pretty decent graphics card. It's a MISI or MSI, however you say it, graphics card. It's the R9 270X Gaming Overclock Edition. I'll put a link in the description for that as well. I've overclocked it from factory overclock, and it still keeps itself very, very cool. I think it's got dual fan on it, or twin fan. No, yeah, twin Frozer fans, whatever they're called. It does a really good job of keeping it cool. Where am I getting shot from? Is that a jet? That was a jet. Wow. It literally just, it wasn't there in the sky. You could just see bullets flying through the sky. So it's all good having 8 cores and 32 GB of RAM and a decent graphics card to power it all on a budget PC, but you've got to remember to go for a decent hard drive. Now, I've got a SSD, and it's a SanDisk hard drive, 128 GB, read and write speed of about 400 megabytes per second. Nowadays they are pretty cheap, they're about £40, and I buy most of my components off eBuyer at its wholesale price. And at the time I paid for it was about £40. I also bought 2 Barracuda from Seagate, 2TB hard drives, 64 megabyte cache, and they were about £40, which is that was really cheap in my eyes, and they're quite decent hard drives. One is for media, one is for games, and like my documents and things, and the other one is for the rendering and the recordings. It's quite handy to have 2 separate hard drives like that. But most people would say, oh no, you can't have 2 hard drives. You can't have 1 hard drive, you have to have 2 hard drives. I'm like, okay, but I've got 32 gigabytes of RAM, and my RAM fills up when I'm using Adobe Premiere Pro. It utilises the RAM fully, even all 8 cores as well. So I don't actually need to have the recording or rendering on separate hard drives. It can all be done on the same hard drive, because they're actually pretty fast hard drives as well. I suppose there would be a small difference, but you wouldn't notice it at all. So when it comes down to power supply, you'll need, for that type of performance, you'll probably need about 650 watts for £500 or less budget gaming PC. Now if you're going to Crosshair or SLI on the other hand, then you're going to want a bigger power supply. You're going to want about 800 watts. So obviously you're going to also need to buy yourself a case, unless you want all your components just scattered around, like plugged in, not actually in a case. So you need to get yourself a decent case, something that's going to keep the components cool while utilising like all your components. You need to have a decent exhaust and a decent intake. The reason why you see me keep dying from this is simply because I'm playing and talking at the same time, and I got a kill but I died myself, so there you go. So it is possible to buy a gaming PC on a budget at around £500. It will be future proof for a good few years. You just upgrade different parts whenever you want, basically, like the CPU, the RAM, the GPU. I'll put a link in the description down below to my build on eBuyer, and I'll link a decent budget build for a PC around £500, and that'll be also linked to eBuyer. All the components will be in a list, like basically a basket. If you want to buy them components separately, you can. If you want to buy the whole lot, then you can. You just press pay now, basically, at the bottom of eBuyer where it says. So let me know what you think of my setup, and let me know what your specs are of your gaming PC in the comments down below. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this in the future. See ya!